You think 3 would be what we've seen from these divisions that feel stacked in this current format of 7 playoff teams and 4 teams in each division? And I say that because the interdivision battles tend to beat you up a little bit. But I'll take away this, and I asked almost a very similar question to Zach Taylor, the Bengals coach, this week, and he called it the Hunger Games in the AFC. You play each other and you beat each other up. I mean, the Bengals can put up an NFC West championship banner. They swept the NFC West going 4-0. But when you play against these AFC North teams, you learn the toughness within the division. And these battles harden these teams. So let's say you get 3 out. You may end up with 3 of the final 4 out of the AFC North. But we got a long, long, long way to go. We're halfway through the season. You know, there are going to be turns and injuries and other subplots that pop up that you never expect. But Baltimore looks really good. Pittsburgh, I don't want to be in a close game with them. I don't want to go face Jim Schwartz's defense. Who knows where people are going to bring pressure from. You called one of those Cleveland games on radios. You've seen them in person firsthand. You know they're the real deal. And what I saw last night is a team that, if you tell me these guys are going to show up in the AFC Championship game, probably at Arrowhead again, like it usually is, I believe that Cincinnati could be there again. They look that good.
I totally believe it. I don't want to only focus on the AFC here, but real quick, you've done a couple of Dolphins games this year. Rich is going to join us from Germany, as I mentioned, coming up in a bit. Where do you stand on the they can't beat anyone thing?
Right. First off, I was texting Rich this morning as I was getting a cup of coffee. Get an update on his travel itinerary for the next couple of days. He has promised to become a full-fledged tourist in Germany. Good. So if you can get the loyal RES, Rich Eisen Show viewers / listeners / downloaders the update on the Eisen as a tourist tour of Germany, that would be a great update for the listeners. The Dolphins, I thought Mike McDaniel said it best. If you don't want it to be the narrative, then beat good teams, right? And that's why we should talk about it. There's so much in football right now that is conversation. And before the game's over, people want to know, well, what's going to be the topic of conversation this week? Well, can we talk about the game first? But if you want to fast forward to that with Miami, you're going to have to be one of these big boys before people start giving you that respect. Now, if you get in the playoffs, it doesn't matter if you haven't beaten somebody. Beat them in the playoffs. That was the story of the Bengals 2 years ago. I did the Bengals-Raiders wild card game in the jungle, and the Bengals hadn't won a playoff game in 31 years. But they did, and then they got to the Super Bowl. And then last year, they were this close to getting back to the Super Bowl. The penalty at the end of the AFC Championship game. It's a 3-point game. Butker kicks a late field goal. They're close to being back-to-back Super Bowl champs. It's a team that had won, I think the number is, Andrew, 5 playoff games in their history. And the last 2 years, they've won 5 playoff games. And the 2 losses in the last 5 years are the Super Bowl, the Rams, they got the ball at the end of the game, and then the Chiefs beating them by a field goal in the AFC title game. So they stopped the narrative by performance. So it doesn't mean the narrative has to stop weeks 1 through 18. If you get to week 19, then you got a chance to stop the narrative.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.